A quiet kid sat in the corner while everyone else laughed, talked, and showed off. No one paid attention to him. No one thought he mattered. Yet years later, the same people would whisper his name with fear and disbelief, because this kid could do what no one else could. He could open any safe, no matter how old, no matter how complex, no matter how secure it was supposed to be. This is not a story about luck. It is not about shortcuts. It is a story about patience, obsession, and a skill so rare that even experts failed to understand it. While others saw a nobody, something else was happening quietly in the background. While teachers ignored him and adults dismissed him, he was learning how metal speaks. He was learning how locks lie, and he was learning how systems built to stop. Everyone could still be broken by one focused mind. Safes are designed to protect secrets, money, documents, power. They are meant to defeat brute force and clever tricks. Companies spend years perfecting them. Engineers test them under extreme conditions. Yet this kid kept opening them, not by breaking them, not by cheating, but by understanding them better than their creators ever did. In this video, you will learn how a child everyone ignored became a master of one of the hardest skills in the world. You will learn how he trained himself without formal guidance. You will learn the mistakes people made when judging him, and you will discover the small, almost invisible moments that changed everything, moments that most stories leave out, moments that explain why underestimating someone can be the biggest mistake of all. This story reveals lesser-known facts about how safe cracking really works. It is not about speed. It is not about strength. It is about listening, control, and discipline, the kind that takes years to build. You will hear about the early failures no one talks about, the nights spent repeating the same motion again and again, the frustration, the silence, and the turning point when people finally realized they were dealing with someone different. By the end of this video, you will understand why intelligence is often invisible at first, why talent does not always announce itself loudly, and why some of the most dangerous minds are the ones no one notices until it is too late. This is more than a story about safes. It is a story about being ignored, about being underestimated, and about what can happen when someone uses that silence as fuel. Stay with us until the end, because the final reveal changes how this story is usually told. It explains what happened after the world finally noticed him, and it raises a question that still has no clear answer. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy true stories told with depth, mystery, and real insight, make sure to subscribe and stay with us. He grew up in a place where people learned to toughen up early. The streets were loud, homes were small. Most kids around him focused on getting through the day, not planning for the future. Adults were busy surviving. Teachers were tired. No one had time to look closely at a quiet boy who asked strange questions and kept to himself. He blended into the background so well that most people forgot he was even there. Money was always tight. Broken things stayed broken. Old objects were reused instead of replaced. That was how he first noticed locks, rusted padlocks, jammed drawers, old boxes that would not open. While others forced them or gave up, he slowed down. He touched them, turned them gently. He wanted to know why they resisted. That curiosity followed him everywhere. Before he was a teenager, he could already open locks that adults struggled with. Not fast, not flashy, just patiently. He learned by trial and error. He listened closely. He paid attention to how metal felt under his fingers. Each failure taught him something small, and those small lessons added up. Still, no one cared. To most people, he was just another kid with too much time and no direction. The first things he practiced on was simple: piggy banks, school lockers, old toolboxes, objects meant to keep children out, not professionals. But even those had rules. Inside every lock were parts that had to line up in a precise way. If one part stayed out of place, nothing moved. He began to sense those moments, the tiny resistance, the soft clicks that others ignored. He did not rush. He waited. Safes work on similar ideas, just more complex. Most use a set of tumblers that must fall into the right position. Each turn of the dial moves something inside. When everything aligns, the door opens. To most people, it feels random. To him, it felt like a pattern waiting to be understood. He treated every lock like a puzzle, not an obstacle. As time passed, the small challenges stopped satisfying him. Toy safes became too easy. Lockers opened too quickly. He started looking for heavier doors, thicker metal, older mechanisms. He found them in abandoned buildings, closed shops, and forgotten storage rooms. Places no one cared about. Places where he could work in silence. Other kids tried similar things at first. They broke locks, they got bored, they moved on. He did not, he stayed. Night after night, he practiced the same motion. Turn, pause, listen, reset. Sometimes nothing happened for hours. Sometimes progress came so slowly it felt invisible, but he kept going. He never talked about it. There was no one to impress, no one asking questions. While the neighborhood slept, he sat alone with cold metal under his hands. Each safe taught him something new. Some were stubborn, some were deceptive, some felt almost alive. He learned their habits, their weaknesses, their rhythms. Without realizing it, he was building a skill most people never even attempt to understand, and still, to the outside world, he was invisible. The moment everything changed came quietly. A small local business had a problem no one could solve. Their safe was locked, and the combination was gone. Inside were documents and cash they needed to survive. They called professionals, men with tools, confidence, and years of experience. One by one, they tried. They listened. They forced. They failed. Hours passed. The safe stayed shut. Someone mentioned the quiet kid, not as a serious suggestion, more like a joke, a last option when nothing else worked. He stood there while grown men stepped aside. The room was tense. No one expected anything. He placed his hands on the dial and closed his eyes. He did not rush. Minutes passed. The sound of the room faded. Then came a soft click. Then another. The door opened. Silence followed. Then disbelief. Faces changed. Some people laughed nervously. Others stepped back. Respect came first. Fear came later. The kid said nothing. He just walked away. But the story did not stay quiet. It spread fast. The same people who ignored him now watched him closely. Not everyone was comfortable with what they had seen. They had ignored him for simple reasons. He was young. He did not speak much. He did not look special. People expect talent to announce itself loudly. They expect confidence, noise, proof. When skill comes in silence, it is often dismissed. The mind prefers familiar patterns. When something does not fit, it gets filtered out. That is how real ability stays hidden. Safe cracking is not about strength, it is about control. Inside a combination safe are wheels that must align perfectly. Each turn shifts pressure, each pause changes tension. A trained hand can feel the difference between metal resting and metal resisting. The sound is almost nothing. The movement is smaller than a breath, but to someone who has trained long enough, it is clear. Great safe crackers do not force answers. They wait for them. They listen to changes others cannot detect. They feel slight vibrations, tiny hesitations. These signals tell a story, and only those who have spent countless hours in silence learn how to read it. His greatest challenge came later, a massive vault, thick steel, an old mechanism no one had touched in decades. The combination was lost to time. Even experts refused to try. He accepted without speaking. The room felt heavy. The door felt colder than the others. Hours passed. Nothing moved. Doubt filled the space. Then, slowly, the vault responded. One wheel, then another. Sweat formed. Breathing slowed. The final click echoed louder than anything before it. The door opened. After that, people looked at him differently. Some asked for help. Some asked for lessons. He became a name people trusted when nothing else worked. And the kid who had once been ignored proved that talent does not always look the way people expect. The world almost missed him, not because he lacked ability, but because he did not fit the image people expected. He did not speak loudly. He did not demand attention. He let his work speak in silence. And when the moment came, that silence opened doors no one else could. Never ignore the quiet ones. They may hold the key to the lock no one can open. If this story made you think, take a second to like this video. It helps the channel more than you might realize. Subscribe to our channel for more true stories that uncover hidden talent, untold moments, and the power of being underestimated. And let us know in the comments what part of this story stayed with you the most.